precious Israel to be safe. Well, I don't care about Israel. I don't care about their protection. I don't care about their safety. I care about our people. And I care about our tax dollars and our security, and Israel can help themselves. So anyway, we could go on all night about that, but I think you get the point. To me, that sentence is so important. It's not at that point, it's not even about Israel and Palestine and settlements and, wars that happened 40 years ago or things that happened 80 years ago. To me, it is about this fundamental distinction that must be pressed. We must force this issue because everybody wants to pretend that you can have one foot on both sides. We cannot name the Israel lobby, but in favor of America first. Doesn't work like that. Does not work like that. You can see in this administration what is happening. You can't have one foot in America first and one foot in the Israel lobby. Doesn't work like that. And case in point, look at the withdrawal from Syria. We can't even pull 1,000 troops out of Syria, a country we never belonged in to begin with because of the influence of this lobby. And that's not America first. But that's Bret Stephens. But we're going to move into our featured story here, which is Charlie Kirk's article in American Greatness. And, of course, it's actually ties in. It's nicely ties in because Charlie Kirk is an Israel firster. If he were offered the choice of America first versus unconditional support for Israel, he would clearly choose the latter because of who he gets paid by. But he writes an op-ed about other things in American Greatness. The title of his piece is called Clearing the Air on the Right. The subtitle reads, "The most interesting debates happening today in American political discourse are not between the left and the right, but rather within the right." You've got that right, exactly. "We should not shy away from our differences, but embrace the dialogue in good faith, and with the understanding that the best ideas and the best leaders will win, and the conservative movement will be better off as a result." Well, I agree. I agree with all of that. I agree that the most interesting debate is happening on the right. I agree that we should not shy away from our differences. I agree we should embrace dialogue. And I also agree that the best ideas and the best leaders will win. Case in point, we won. We defeated Charlie Kirk because we have the better ideas and the better leaders. Smarter, more handsome, normal-sized teeth, normal-sized face. But obviously Charlie Kirk doesn't believe this, and this is why we're reading this article. It's sort of just such a brazen and blatant hypocrisy. If you haven't been following this saga, we've been going to Charlie Kirk's Q&A events and asking him questions. And in response to this attempt, by us to not shy away from interesting conversations happening on the right, an attempt by us to engage in a good faith discussion, to allow the best ideas and the best leaders to rise up, Charlie Kirk has dismissed our questions. He's called the people asking them racists, homophobes, anti-Semites, trolls. He said that our attempt to engage in discussion is sabotage, is a trolling sort of joke. He's gone after me in particular, the so-called better leaders with the better ideas. He's tried to smear me. He's coordinated a massive smear campaign against me by all his Turning Point proxies and associated people. I've been told, and this is from the horse's mouth, I've been told that he's sending out DMs frantically to every brand ambassador that he knows, telling them, "You've got to denounce Nick Fuentes. You've got to disavow Nick Fuentes. You've got to disavow Groypers." Really, Charlie? I'm friends with all these people. That's what's going on. He's telling people, he's putting the message out, you've got to disavow, you've got to condemn, you've got to call him an anti-Semite. You've got to overwhelm him by discrediting him and destroying his reputation so people don't take his ideas seriously. Is that a good faith discussion? He has called on the ZOA to demand that I be deplatformed from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that. He's pretended that he doesn't know who I am. He had me apprehended by a dozen police officers and prevented from even attending his debate with Kyle Kalinske at Politicon, and then he pretended not to know what that was about. More recently, you should have seen what he did. Questioners came up and he called them neo-Nazis and white supremacists, had them doxxed in some cases. So this is Charlie Kirk who says that we should engage in a good faith discussion and not shy away and allow the best ideas to flourish. Really? He writes in the article, or his ghostwriter says, "When I started Turning Point USA at the age of 18, I was often guilty of applying a purity test." So there's the frame. A purity test when discussing issues or evaluating politicians and activists. For example, if someone wasn't promoting a purely free trade solution to America's problems, I wasn't listening. Over the past 3 years on this issue and many others, I have changed my mind. And I haven't been alone. Millions of like-minded Americans have also changed their minds on issues once considered indisputable conservative doctrine. I love the frame of this article because right from the outset, he's admitting defeat. He can do this brazen tactic where he says, we're trying to have a good faith discussion. But the frame from this first paragraph is, people can change their minds. People can change their minds. I used to be one way. I used to believe in free trade, but now I believe in tariffs. And that's because people can change their minds. So we can see how he's setting this up already. We can see the tone. He says, as someone who became known as an activist and built a national campus organization, all while being called too conservative and racist, all while getting written up by SPLC's Hate Watch blog, all while being on the receiving end of multiple hit pieces either directly stating or implying that I'm a bigot, and my organization traffics in bigotry. It's an admittedly new experience that some are now applying conservative purity tests